Alright, so this is my 87 update. This is the current state of my 87 Charger. It's been in pretty good running condition. Like I showed in the first video I made of this when I brought it home from up north, the body is not great. The sad part is I'm kind of thinking of having to get rid of this car because there's no reason for me to keep it. It's tough though because it's not really worth anything, and I still love the car. But obviously, being a Minnesota car, the rust is pretty bad. I'll show you more of it here. Not as bad as my wife's probe, obviously. My wife's probe is so covered in duct tape because there's no fenders left. I mean, hell, there's not even anything left to attach it to. But the probe runs good and it's got a lot of miles on it. It was a cheap car, so we're going to keep it running. More duct tape. There's no fender there. I think the other side's worse. Have to paint the hatch still. Rust there. Just put duct tape over all the rust because, well, white duct tape looks less tacky than big brown spots. There's nothing there at all. Yeah, so that's in tough shape, and it's pretty bad underneath too. It's actually worse underneath in a sense than the Charger is. So unfortunately I'm not going to stick any money to it. I'm just going to run it till it dies and then find her another one. Been doing some cleaning in my garage. For those who don't already know, hatchbacks rock. I've upgraded the brakes on this Charger. It had these tiny little rotors, base model Dodge Omnis, and these cars had these very tiny rotors which look like the rear discs from newer cars. No, these are the front discs. But I upgraded its brakes to the larger ones from a K-car, a LeBaron, same type of brakes that my Shelby has on it. And I've currently got these louvers on it that I was thinking of keeping, but I might just let them go with the car. Don't know yet. Because they're Daytona louvers, so they're a little too big. But I actually modified the clamping pieces that hold them down so they fit a lot better. They look kind of nice on it, I reckon. The interior is real pretty in this thing. It's one of the things I loved about the car. I mean, this bright red is just great. I mean, the carpet's a little faded in spots. Got a black center console with armrest because it didn't come with an armrest. This was a gray one I pulled out of an Omni and just threw some paint on. So it's not exactly mounted proper, but I like having the armrest and not having it really kind of sucks. Yeah, like I said, the carpet's a little faded, but the interior's real pretty. I love the car, honest to God. We'll start it and look under the hood. Oh, before I do that, somebody hit me a couple of years ago. I mentioned in the first video. Like I said, rust, pretty bad. I mean, it's like body stuff I could fix. And I can fix the floor too, but, you know, I'd have to gut the interior, and I just don't have the time to do it. But this is my troublesome spot. This is supposed to be frame right here, and it's gone, unfortunately. Holding the camera sideways, if I do it straight, that might be easier to see. There we go. Holding it sideways like a retard, that don't help, does it? So it's like so much of the frame is rusted out. I don't notice it driving, but I noticed it looking under it when I was jacking it up one time. And a person could easily fix it by welding some steel in and kind of creating a new box around the frame. And I could do it too. But I've got my Shelby and so much other shit to work on, and I just don't have the time or the money to do it. And the sad part is, I can only sell it for like $500, you know. Maybe $600 depending upon what I let go with it. But I mean, it's not worth much, and I'd hate to just put a sign in it because you know some teenager is going to find it, not give a damn what it is, destroy the poor thing, and it's just going to go to a junkyard. And that'd be really suck. I mean, I've even got new Napa SensaTrack struts all around. Springs and struts, I replaced them all just about 2 years ago. The motor is rock solid in this thing. Those are the actual miles. The speedometer has never stopped working in it. I got this thing from a little... well, actually, I got it from a guy who got it from a little old man. The guy I got it from never really drove it much because it had a carburetor problem. But the little old guy he got it from, this like typical little old guy, just drove it to the grocery store and to church, you know? Pretty simple. And I've got an electric fuel pump in the tank because I was going to convert it to fuel injection. I just haven't yet. Hell, even the AC still works. of the things I've done to this thing is, you know, valve cover gasket. I put an aluminum valve cover on it. I replaced the timing belt. I replaced the carburetor with one from a Shelby that was rebuilt because it had a really crappy design on it. Yeah, timing belt, carburetor, alternator, and yeah, I've never even done the water pump on it. The old fuel pump, mechanical fuel pump, is still there. It's just not actually connected. The lines are just sitting open here. And I've got a newer style fuel filter up front here. This is a Holley fuel pressure regulator. I've just been using that for the longest time. So I've got a circuit breaker here for the fuel pump and a fuel pump relay underneath the rag. Yeah, I'm always tore up as to what I'm going to do. I've even got a 5-speed transmission, shift linkage, clutch pedals, clutch cables, pretty much everything I think I need. Flywheel, clutch, everything to convert this thing to 5-speed. And we just haven't taken the time to do it. The transmission I have is an A525 from a Shelby Charger. It's a great riding little car, especially after I put those shocks and struts in it. It rides great. I mean, it sucks to be stuck with a 3-speed Failmatic transmission, but if you're going to be stuck with a 3-speed Failmatic, these are the ones to have. Because they're pretty much rock solid. I mean, you can beat on these things all day long and they pretty much won't go out. Lord knows I've beaten this thing's transmission pretty hard. Okay, I guess I really shouldn't say beat, because I never really beat anything of mine too much because I know what to do. But I mean, you can hold first gear up to 45 miles an hour and the second gear up to 75 miles an hour. And if you shift forward, it obviously goes a lot better. Runway room, but you know. Now once you get down to 35, you can downshift into first. I always like the way this thing sounds too, because I've got a nice little MagnaFlow on the back. I replaced the exhaust pipe that went from the cat back, and then I stuck a little MagnaFlow on it instead of the muffler. I was surprised at how nice it sounds. I've still got the cat and everything stock that came with it, and that pipe is all solid. Those pipes don't usually rust out. They'll get coated in rust, but they'll never rust out. Yeah, I've never even really done anything to the motor. I haven't had to do the head gasket. Like I said, I haven't replaced the water pump. Sure, I've flushed the system a couple times and replaced the thermostat probably twice, because I like to keep up on that stuff. So she never runs hot on me. It's a really good car, so I guess I'm not sure what the hell I'm going to do at the moment. They go through the snow really freaking well, too, if you live in a snowy state, that's for sure. I don't know. I'm tempted to put an ad in Craigslist, but, you know, I'm kind of leery about what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll put an ad in Craigslist specifying that I want this to go to the right place, and I'll, you know, not sell it to certain people. That'd be kind of a douchebag thing to do, I suppose, but, I mean, it's not worth much, so if I don't sell it and just hang on to it and keep it up north as much as I'd hate to. Well, anyways, we're almost to 10 minutes now, and, well, I can't really edit footage too well, so I guess we'll pretty much just stop it here. And, yeah, feel free to comment, you know. It's a great little car. I really love it. I've had it for a long time. My wife used to drive it every day and get 27 miles to the gallon. Hard to believe out of a carburetor and a 3-speed auto. Well, that's all. Take it easy.